business at both ends. Niemi's international teammate Jonathan Johansson has been a revelation with 5 goals in the last 7 games. Earning great praise from coach Dick Advocat. Before the match here, on Remembrance Sunday, Diarmid Park will stand for a minute's silence. People of Perth and the visiting Rangers supporters perfectly observing that minute's silence on Remembrance Sunday. Tonight's referee is Kenny Clark. It's the 4th time he's been in charge of a Rangers match this season, but the 1st time he's officiated in a St Johnstone game. And it will be Rangers in their change kit with red shirts to start this encounter, and it promises to be an enthralling encounter. St Johnstone really playing well. It's amazing when you think that Rangers have spent over £30 million since Dick Advocat arrived in their quest to regain the championship. St Johnstone, well, they did spend 50 grand on Nathan Lowndes from Watford. Bit of a gulf, John.
Well, that is a bit of golf, but Lowndes has been a real snip. Have a bargain for them.
An early touch for Alan Main, who has been feeling a little bit off colour in the last couple of days. But I'm sure a visit from Rangers will perk him up no end. And Maruso, unable to win it away from O'Boyle. McMahon's cross. Bolan, the ex-Rangers man, away by Amoruso. Between O'Neill. Nick Dasovic, the Canadian international, he scored a stunning goal in St Johnstone's Scottish League Cup semi-final victory over Hearts, a convincing victory as they reach their 2nd domestic final ever. Kanchelskis on the chase, but across came Darren Dodds, the former Hibs man. Read the situation well.
Yeah, it was good come for big Darren there. It's a super ball through, but he cut out the danger, Kanchelskis early.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Arthur Newman. Johansson, who really has been in sensational form since getting a bit of a run in the side, but he'll know that his place is under threat after the arrival of Stefan Givash. They really do have some squad, Rangers, don't they, John?
Yeah, it's frightening when you see the players that can come in the end, but I'll tell you what, Sandy Clark will have this team well fired up for this visit, and St Johnstone will attack.
Yes, not much has gone wrong for Sandy since he took charge here. Ian Ferguson replacing Barry Ferguson. Rod Wallace. And it was neat work by O'Neill. We might get it again here. No, it'll just run away. Sloppy from Vidmar. And a chance for Nathan Lowndes, who has a bit of pace, but who ran into a mountain called Colin.
Yeah, well, not many people get a bit of Colin Hendry in a one-to-one. That's a nice England-Scotland confrontation there for us tonight.
Here's John O'Neill. Paul Kane. The up and under from Dodds, and O'Boyle on to Nathan Lowndes. Magnificent saving tackle from Hendry. The sort of tackle you expect him to make, mind you.
Well, certainly a trademark of Colin Hendry, but it just shows you how dangerous this St Johnstone side can be. There it is, knocked down. Lowndes onto it in a flash, but Hendry covers him well.
Johansson leaves it for Newman. It's his first league game since August the 22nd. Out injured, but after his World Cup exploits, they'll say the rest might have done him a bit of good. And Johansson has won the corner, first corner of the game. It will be taken by Van Bronckhorst. The central defenders, Amoruso and Hendry, not surprisingly, have made their way forward. And it was really viciously swirled in by Van Bronckhorst. Kanchelskis. Still he goes. Oh, and it's off Dodds. And he'll be rather glad that that one flew just wide.
Well, it's certainly been a lively start, and this is so close. Dodds not only running away, and that is absolutely inches here. It's a good ball from Kanchelskis. Dodds averts the danger from Johansson, and that is just past the right-hand post.
A little too close for comfort. Another super corner from Van Bronckhorst. George Albertz. Lowndes was quickly in, and he's been fouled. Ferguson.
Well, Fergie in there, very sharp. Didn't look much in it. You see him coming in here. I don't really see that as a free kick, but the referee was right in the spot.
Dodds aimed towards O'Boyle, but that will be Amoruso's, who has been the subject of the Rangers boo boys a little bit lately, but who put in a sturdy performance against Leverkusen as Rangers knocked the German giants out of the UEFA Cup to set up a clash with a club from his country, Italy. Rangers, of course, playing Parma. And that was a fair effort from Paul Kane.
Well, Paul Kane has been playing very, very well for St Johnstone of late, and he's never scared to try it, and that is not as far away as people could imagine there.
Incredibly, St Johnstone have had 12 different scorers this season. Harry Boland, the only one on show from the start today, not to get on the score sheet. Jerry McMahon happy to be back in the side. Dasovic. Albertz. Johansson. And Albertz and Newman, not quite on the same wavelength. They really haven't played together too often, of course, with Newman being out injured for so long. McQuillan. Nathan Lowndes, who's been a big hit since moving north of the border from Watford's reserves. Van Bronckhorst. Could be away here. And it cannoned off the foot of Cunningham.
Well, Kanchelskis was raging there because when Van Bronckhorst broke through, he was clear wide on the right-hand side. But Giovanni decided to go alone, and in the end, quite a weak effort.
St Johnstone did beat Rangers here last season, but it was their only league victory in 37 meetings, would you believe? So you could say that history favours Rangers just a tad. Offside flag is up against Wallace.
Yeah, it's a very good decision from the linesman there. Wallace moved across the line just a fraction early. You'll see it here. There's a run. Dodds steps up, and the ball's played, and well, in fairness there, even I've been caught out. Wallace made a tremendous run.
Nathan Lowndes. This is Kane. Boland. Boyle, Lowndes' strike partner, is off the field at the moment, sorting out his studs, so St Johnstone temporarily down to 10 men, but not for very long. Newman, Ian Ferguson, Van Bronckhorst. Here's Newman, and here's Johansson, and the cross came Boland. Come back to Newman though, and then back to Boland. Albertz, Johansson, away by John McQuillan, who scored a stunning goal last week at Dunfermline. Vidmar, who had been filling in at left back whilst Newman was injured, but who's in at right back today because Perini is injured. Kanchelskis come all the way through to Newman. Albertz behind him with a bit of time on his hands, and you really don't want to give him a bit of time because the hammer, as they call him, will have a go from anywhere.
Well, you're spot on there, Ian. Paul Kane just a little bit slow to get across there, the back off, and George Albertz needs no second invitation to hit them. It's a cracking strike, but Alan Main is alive and fingertips the ball to safety.
Van Bronckhorst with this Rangers corner, and it's crossed the line, has it? It has been given. The referee's given it. It's going to count, and Rangers have taken an early lead. Well, Wallace seems to be claiming it.
It's another superb ball in there. It's beat everybody. Yes, and it's definitely a goal, and it's definitely Wallace's. And all credit to the stand-side linesman because he gave the goal here. It's a super ball in. Comes off Vidmar, Wallace just gets a touch, and yes, you can see there a tremendous effort from Main, but the ball was over the line.
Well, it's not the best goal Rod Wallace has scored in his career, but it's given Rangers an early lead, although here's Lowndes looking to fight back immediately, but his effort drifted away off the target.
Well, it's another super chance of Boyle does well. Lowndes goes round, he just leans back. And it's unlike him. I talked to Paul Kane earlier this week, and he says this guy can score for fun. He scores from all angles at training, and I'm sure Rangers won't want to give him too many chances to do that tonight. We see again, though, it's a magnificent ball from Van Bronckhorst. Nobody can get a hold of it, but there's the vital touch from Wallace. Alan made a super attempt, but unfortunately not good enough. Well, Roy Bain says he's been flying in training all week. He's a man that coaches both Livingston and St Johnstone, and despite him being off colour, Ian, he was very unlucky.
Well, he's kept 7 clean sheets in 13 games this season, Alan Main, but not tonight. Rod Wallace continuing the success story since he moved to Scotland. His 13th of the season. Top scorer in Scotland.
Well, despite the spending, Ian, this is a man that slipped into Ibrox on a free transfer. And I tell you what, he's probably the best money Rangers have never spent.
Well, it was always going to be the ultimate test for St Johnstone. How will they react now? Dasovic will get the corner off Vidmar. Niemi with some sorting out to do then. And Kernigan, the former Middlesbrough and Manchester City defender, will aim to be a proper old nuisance as Jerry McMahon prepares to whip in St Johnstone's first corner. Didn't whip it in particularly well, but he'll get a chance to try again.
Yeah, McMahon, like Van Bronckhorst, can certainly whip balls in, and he'll be disappointed there, but one thing's for sure, this St Johnstone team will not lie down.
It's McMahon with his second corner in succession, and Darren Dodd tangled with Amoruso there. That's an awkward one for Niemi, and he had to tip it over, and St Johnstone will get another corner.
Yeah, it's a good spell of pressure, it's a good ball. It's swerving in towards goals, and Niemi does like all good keepers do. Makes absolutely sure it doesn't end up in the back of his net.
Since Rangers scored, this man has been under pretty constant pressure. McMahon aiming for the far post this time, away by Amoruso. Rangers' 20th Scottish Premier League goal of the season. They were the top scorers in the league until yesterday when Celtic overtook them, and how, by scoring 6 against Dundee. They have the best defence in the top flight, and Antti Niemi will be hoping to continue the fine work of Charbonnier, aided of course by a pretty useful defence.
Certainly not much light showing between the shoulders of Amoruso, Henry, Vidmar and Newman, and although St Johnstone will find it tough, that man there, Stanley Clark's team, will battle all the way.
He hasn't had too many disappointments since replacing Paul Sturrock here. Amoruso, now what was he trying to do there? Lob the keeper perhaps? Trifle ambitious.
Well, there's been a few long-range efforts scored in recent weeks, Ian, so I can't believe Mr. Amoruso would try that, but you never know.
You never know with him. Here he is again. St Johnstone's throw. Former Fiorentina captain, Lorenzo Amoruso. Joined Rangers last year, but was out injured for most of the season. St Johnstone missed out on a UEFA Cup place by just 2 points to Kilmarnock. This man and Rangers are in the UEFA Cup, of course. And now Amoruso will relish that tussle with Palmer.
Yeah, that seems like it could be an awesome tie. And Rangers' confidence is up, but Johnson will push them and try and see if their fitness is up for it.
In by Kane. Vidmar, it's going to drop behind, and St Johnstone are going to get yet another corner. Well, they've responded magnificently to going a goal down.
Yeah, they've come back well, Ian, and St Johnstone do spend an awful lot of time practicing corners and free kicks. Don't want to give them too many opportunities.
Well, here's a familiar sight. Jerry McMahon taking a corner on this side. Comfortably cleared by Van Bronckhorst, though. Harry Boland didn't make too many league appearances in his 4 years at Ibrox. By Kane to Lowndes. Back to McMahon, but in stepped Albertz. Here's Paul Kane, though. And the low drive from John O'Neill. And still, they put the pressure on. Kane. George O'Boyle. He has Newman to contend with. It stayed in play, that, total miskick from Colin Hendry. And it was collected by Niemi, but Rangers felt the ball across the line, but the linesman wasn't far away, as you'll see here.
Well, the linesman's got a great view, and I'm not sure if this wouldn't be contrived as a pass back, because if you look late, yep, Amoruso, wee back heel. Perhaps a bit fortunate to get away with that. There it is, you see Amoruso, look, maybe accidental, but you can never tell with referees.
We'll be hoping to avoid uncomfortable moments like that. Thank you very much, Henry and Amoruso. And Niemi. Vidmar. St Johnstone unbeaten in 5 games coming into this. Rangers with 7 wins in their last 9 matches. Lowndes on the chase, but Niemi sprung off his line. Finnish international.
Yeah, he was outshot there. It's a tremendous run from O'Boyle, who loves to play on the shoulders of people like Hendry and Amoruso. But St Johnstone, as you see, have come back well. And I'm sure the possession and the action areas will make interesting reading.
Well, now, John. Your request?
Well, right on cue, yes. Rangers did start off well, but St Johnstone have pushed them back now. And the traffic's going towards the Rangers goal.
Now, who's going to get to this first? Albertz is the answer. Ahead of O'Neill. And a foul on Newman from Lowndes. And he's going to get a little ticking off from Kenny Clark. Is Nathan Lowndes?
Yeah, I think he's had a couple of fouls there. He just slides in, just catches Newman late. It's a genuine attempt for the ball. But Kenny Clark, one of these referees that likes to talk to the players, which all football players respect. And I'm sure Mr. Lowndes will be on his best behaviour from now on.
Here's Jerry McMahon, Northern Ireland international. St Johnstone do have a few of them, including George O'Boyle and Danny Griffin. He's a Canadian international, Nick Dasovic. Boland. It came off Dasovic, and Lowndes looking to latch onto it. He was shielded by Amaruso, but Niemi was always going to get there first anyway.
Well, once again, Niemi quick off his line, but Amaruso showing his professionalism and his defensive capabilities there, just easing Nathan Lowndes off the ball before he could nip in between them.
Wallace, scorer from close range for Rangers, very close range. Dick Advocat taking his spending at Rangers this week to over £30 million with the purchase of Stefan Guivars from Newcastle.
Yeah, he's done tremendously well, like the Dutchman who won a title last year for Celtic, Wim Jansen. Advocat's come and rightly in rave reviews.
Ian Ferguson. Vidmar's cross, which Newman might just get to. Sends it straight back in. Away by Kane, eventually. O'Neill. He's done very well to get past Albertz, and he's found Nathan Lowndes, who ran into trouble in the shape of Ferguson. And here's Van Bronckhorst, and here's Johansson. And he dillied and dallied, and it was Boland's initial challenge that held him up. McMahon. O'Boyle. Back to McMahon. St Johnstone really aren't doing much wrong at the moment. They trail 1-0.
Well, it's a good open game here, and St Johnstone are giving as good as they're getting, so it's not bad.
You ready, Gary? Thank you. Here's Lowndes. Bobbled off the youngster who is making his 12th appearance for St Johnstone today. 6 starts, 6 substitute appearances. He's weighed in with 4 goals. And he seems to have settled very well into Scottish life also.
Well, that's right. As I mentioned earlier, Paul Kane says a very, would we say, chirpy lad. And Paul Kane says he's settled in great. He scores goals for fun in training, as we've mentioned. And they reckon that he could turn into one of the best finishers to play for St Johnstone.
Jonathan Johansson, whose finishing hasn't been too bad for Rangers lately. Here's Cunningham. Glance off the head of McMahon. And Hendry. Straight up in the air.
Yes, a good old Scottish clearance there from Big Colin.
Boland's throw. And off Hendry again. Such a superb servant to Blackburn Rovers. And Vidmar does a Hendry.
Well, I think that one is actually even higher. It's out the ground, Ian. All 3 points. Aussie rules for Tony Vidmar.
O'Boyle. And Boland got the cross in towards Lowndes. Sadly for him and St Johnstone, there was nobody waiting for the knockdown. Here's Kane, going the wrong way at the moment. Dodds. Quillen was well forward, but the pass from Darren Dodds wasn't too close to him. Rod Wallace with his 13th of the season for Rangers.
Yeah, he just peels off here. There's a touch. There's the little head, just enough. And a real great effort from Alan Main, and just sneaked over the line.
Striker's instinct, I think we could safely say. Not bad statistics for him so far.
Yeah, we can't get much better than that.
Since that Wallace goal, though, St Johnstone have certainly given it their all, and possibly even a bit more than their all. McQuillan, though, was dispossessed. A Rangers throw for Newman. Rangers could have been knocked off the top by Kilmarnock yesterday, but they failed to take their chance killing. As a result, Rangers could open up a 4-point gap if they win here. If they do win here, they're certainly going to have to work for it, that's for sure. John O'Neill. Dasovic will let it run to McMahon, who showed such promise in his younger days at Tottenham, but who hasn't really fulfilled the potential.
Yeah, we look to make an impression tonight, because as Sandy Clark said earlier, doesn't like to change a winning team, and the players who come in have really got to take their chance.
Dasovic for O'Neill. That one's going to drop harmlessly through to Niemi, though. Arthur Newman, Dutch World Cup star, sends off in the quarterfinals. Albertz to Ian Ferguson. Amaruso, aimed towards Kanchelskis. And it must have glanced off Boland's head, that, because the official has given a throw. And to Boland's credit, there was no complaint. Here's Vidmar. Ian Ferguson in for the rested Barry Ferguson. This is a nice sweeping move from Rangers. Newman to Van Bronckhorst, but the two Dutchmen didn't quite combine to any great effect.
Well, it was just the final ball that let them down there. Rangers used the whole width of the pitch. It started wide on the right and nearly, very nearly, get Newman in on the left-hand side.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, £5.25 million signing from Feyenoord. Lowndes, he cost 50,000 from Watford. John O'Neill with the St Johnstone throw. At last, Kane, Kernigan. There's a big week of Worthington Cup action ahead on Sky Sports, and that really should be some encounter at Anfield. Liverpool against George Graham's Tottenham, Tuesday 7:30 on Sky Sports 2, and the following night, Wednesday, on Sky Sports 2 as well, it's the big London derby, Arsenal against Chelsea. Dodds. Amaruso with a kind of clearance.
Yeah, well, St Johnstone are still working hard, Ian, and despite all their territorial advantage, I really don't see, they've not really troubled Antti Niemi at all, and not really getting any shots on target, which is really all that's lacking.
Johnston with just one defeat in 10, ironically against Dundee United, where their manager Paul Sturrock went. Kanchelskis for Johansson and Kernigan with an exceptional challenge. Vidmar to Ian Ferguson. It's a touch of a pass for Arthur Newman. Slipping it through superbly to Rod Wallace, back for Van Bronckhorst, excellent save by Main, but look who's there to pounce, it's the flying Finn, Jonathan Johansson. He's been a revelation lately, his place might be under threat after the arrival of Guy. There's his answer to that.
Well, it's a great move, Wallace has slipped in there, Van Bronckhorst, it's a great touch and a good strike, Main again, heroics in the goal. But we said at the top of the programme, the hot combination in Scotland is Wallace and Johansson, and that's them got one each. A tremendous stop by Main here, great reflexes, but there's the striker instinct, and it's 2-0.
His 9th goal of the season, 6 of them coming in the last 8 games. He really has been in exceptional form. 18 international caps to his name as well. Jonathan Johansson. Stefan Guy may have to be content with a place on the bench for a few games at this rate.
Well, certainly if Dick Advocat was looking for a reaction from his strikers to the signing, he's certainly got it tonight.
Just a bit. Wallace and Johansson now with 22 goals between them. Johnstone entered this match so high on confidence, and they've put Rangers under pressure, but they suddenly find themselves 2 down. And they're under pressure themselves here with Arthur Newman. And he's found Wallace. Dasovic waiting to receive on the edge of the area. Ian Ferguson. St Johnstone are getting swamped a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Ian. That goal certainly knocked the stuffing out of them. They were playing with confidence despite the early loss. But Rangers now have that familiar swagger back in their game.
Kanchelskis, Amoruso, away to Newman. He's had such a frustrating time with injury since he joined Rangers, but he really looks up for this one. Ferguson. Kanchelskis running round the back, but straight through to the keeper that time. Well, their response, St Johnstone, when they went to 1 down, was excellent. What's it going to be now? Rangers just edging possession, although St Johnstone certainly have their fair share of it.
Yeah, well, that's only looking statistic there. I thought that St Johnstone had more of the ball, but who am I to argue?
The Rangers have certainly done the business in front of goal, and Dick Advocat not smiling yet, because managers never do. Here's Van Bronckhorst, surely tripped, penalty. And it gets worse and worse for St Johnstone, and it's going to be, oh, it's a red card! It's a red card for Gart. Kenny Clark raced across. Controversy at McDermott.
Well, it's a great run from Van Bronckhorst. He gets in there. It's Paul Kane with a challenge. There's 2 covering players, and really, that is a harsh sending off. The rules are rules. He maybe saw it as a professional foul in the box, deliberate free kick, but Paul Kane, I think for the 2nd time this season, has seen red early, and that is a shattering blow at St Johnstone. And if this goes in the end, well, anything could happen.
Well, it's Albertz, and it's no problem at all for George Albertz, and it's a romp for Rangers. His 10th of the season, 6 of them from the spot. All as cool as that.
Well, if there's one man you don't want to be facing a penalty, it's Albertz. He normally hammers them, but this time he just side puts it cool as you like. The Main's left. And St Johnstone are really now up against it.
No chance for Alan Main. Another perfect penalty from George Albertz. A man you can rely on enormously from the spot. So, St Johnstone are down to 10 men, and they're 3-0 down. on goals.
Yeah, looks like it could be a reincarnation of Custer's last stand here. If things get any worse.
Here's McMahon. Vidmar's header puts Niemi in the spot of bother. Paul Kane's second sending off of the season. He was red-carded on the opening day. Another free kick going Rangers' way now. McQuillan on Wallace.
It's a super touch from Wallace. McQuillan just coming through there. And it actually wasn't a bad foul to give away because Kuchelskis and Johansson were free on either side of him.
Vidmar. O'Boyle. Kernigan. John McQuillan. The St Johnstone fans have been stunned by what they've witnessed. Rangers with a powerful performance, sending out a real message to anybody who might care to challenge them. Kenny Clark sending off Paul Kane for this challenge.
Yeah, well, it's a stonewall penalty, and with the two St Johnstone players being there, I can only assume, and probably quite rightly, that Kenny Clark deemed that as a deliberate trip in the box, and by my writing the rules, it's a red card.
Straight red for Paul Kane.
Yeah, I think Ian as well, he got a straight red earlier on this season against Motherwell away. I said Johnson could be without that influential midfield player for 1 or 2 games.
He obviously doesn't bother with yellows. And St Johnstone felt they should have had a free kick then. John O'Neill protesting to referee Kenny Clark. Rangers meanwhile are on the prowl again, but here's Dodds. I think he and his defence might be in for a rather busy remaining 55 minutes.
Well, I'm sure you'll find that Rangers will want to use that extra man now, Ian. They'll knock it about, and if they become as clinical as their passing can be, then he thinks he could be right.
Well, with St Johnstone in such excellent form, it really promised to be a close game to call, but it hasn't really turned into that now.
No, there is a stunned silence around McDermott. Everybody's talking about the penalty incident. There's no doubt it was a penalty. It's just the controversial part. Was it a red?
And St Johnstone will surely point to the covering defenders. But they can't whinge about it at the moment. They've got to get on with it and try somehow to hold themselves back into this game against £13 million worth of talent.
Yeah, you know, as you're saying there, I don't think it's a fact that we know there was covering players there, but I'm sure that anything that the referee deems deliberate inside the box is a red card, and it's bad news for Paul Kane. But I don't think Mr. Clark was left with any option.
John McQuillan, Jerry McMahon, George O'Boyle now, and he's found his strike partner Nathan Lowndes, who went to the byline but couldn't quite drag it back.
Well, he's got some much needed recipes, but I tell you what, Vidmar sticks his leg in here, and if Lowndes had gone down, I think we could have been looking at our second penalty of the match.
It's only 21, he hasn't learned to do that yet. Well, 7 years ago, Rangers won 6-0 here. Ian Ferguson, in fact, who's playing, was among the scorers that day. We might fancy something similar at the moment. Here's Boland, though, the former Ibrox man, skipping past Hendry. Lowndes. It was away by Albertz. It's going to come back towards him though. Here's McQuillan. Over Boyle's head, and Vidmar knew that Lowndes was lurking.
Yeah, Vidmar, I think, initially tries to knock this back to Niemi, but it takes an awful lot of skid here. There it is, there's a bounce. And he just makes sure that Rangers keep that impressive goals against record.
St Johnstone with their 5th corner, and they really could do with something from this. And that's an understatement. And Niemi, the header from Dodds.
Yeah, it's a better flight, the delivery there from McMahon, and Dodds does well to stretch here. Gets into a nice area. It's a comfortable save for the big Finn.
He attempts a goal, 4 for St Johnstone, 6 for Rangers, but that tells the truer story. 5 on target.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that earlier, Ian, that St Johnstone, for all the good work up to the 18-yard box, hadn't really tested Niemi. And there's Rangers, 5 on target. And unfortunately for Alan Main, 3 in the back of the net.
It's not even half-time yet. Here's Albertz, taking his tally to the season into double figures. Van Bronckhorst. And that's come off McQuillan. It'll be a corner. And this man, Van Bronckhorst, has been sending in some pretty decent corners.
Yeah, he certainly can. He's been whipping them there. If this continues, I think we'll get a nice easy introduction to Scottish football, perhaps for Stefan Givac later on in the match.
It's another wicked one from Van Bronckhorst. It was cleared by Kernigan, and Maruso offside against Wallace. It won't count. Flag was up, and not much doubt about that decision, I don't think.
Yeah, it certainly looked offside, but I'll tell you what, Maruso might be a bit upset here because the shot actually goes in. Yeah, he's just offside there. It's a sclaff, but there's no doubt Wallace has put off Alan Main. And surely if that one had gone in, there would have been questions asked.
Well, it's turned into a Sunday evening stroll in the park for Rangers at the moment. Arthur Newman. Dodds and Wallace go for it. And Wallace, the advantage has been played. Ian Ferguson. Credit to Boland, who was alert to the threat, and it was a considerable threat, and that man in the thick of it once more.
Well, the St Johnstone fans are not happy with the referee, but the ball was played for there. Wallace grappled with Darren Dodds, got away from him, and in the end it was just a bad ball. You see him here, the two of them are grappling, and no, there's not much in that. St Johnstone defender could feel a little bit aggrieved, but a slack pass from Wallace, and the chance goes a begging.
St Johnstone being given a lesson. Here's Kanchelskis. Dasovic. Vidmar. And the Australian didn't quite keep it in. He's actually started 14 of the last 16 games for Rangers. Probably didn't expect to today though, but with the birthday boy Perini out, he got his chance. Boland for Lowndes. And Vidmar marshalling that behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, well, Rangers are just starting to probe now. And the only disappointing thing for me is, despite all the money they've spent and the strengths and the good football they play, I just feel we should be seeing a bit more from Andrei Kanchelskis. He came with a massive reputation, and he's been a little bit disappointing so far this season.
Yeah, he's not had much of a kick so far in this game, but hasn't really needed to for Rangers. Alan Kernigan moving forward. Two former Manchester City players there, Andrew and Kernigan. The free kick wasted somewhat. And Dodds unable to get on the end of it. from the signing from Hibernian.
Yeah, St Johnstone really on the back foot at the moment, and they'll be trying to make more of them, even if it's just to give the defence some respite. And I'm sure there'll be the incessant waves of attack from the men in red tonight.
Albertz. Vidmar. Vidmar. Amarusa. Here's Van Bronckhorst, and he's going to have a go. Very clean strike.
Well, there's a bit of exchange between the two Dutchmen there. Van Bronckhorst, it's a good volley. No trouble to main, but Newman had made a superb run down the left. And it was just a touch not amused that his fellow countryman didn't slip him in.
Kanchelskis failed by Boland, who's going to get a yellow card from Kenny Clark.
Well, Kanchelskis letting it run out here. He just misses it. Starts to shield it once Boland takes a touch. And I think the frustration showing there from young Gary. And that deserves everything he got.
Confirmation of Boland's yellow card against his former club. His fourth yellow card of the season. Now Kanchelskis getting a rare touch in his first half, but it was a touch that didn't last very long because Boland was there.
Come on, out!
Kept him in check.
Time!
Hendry. Not sure if that was where he meant to send it, but he certainly did. Albertz looking for Newman. He faces a real race to get there.
Well, Rangers continually trying to find this man Newman down the left-hand side. But, once again, Albert's pass is just a touch overhit.
German cost £4 million from Hamburg. And it's half-time at McDermott Park, and what a first half it's been for Rangers. Another perfect penalty from George Albertz put them 3-0 up after Paul Kane was sent off. Before that, instinctive finishing from Jonathan Johansson and from Rod Wallace. The Rangers strike force really on form at the moment. Wallace pouncing from close range, and it was judged to have crossed the line. And then, after Alan Main had foiled Van Bronckhorst, Johansson was where all good strikers really should be. And then controversy as Paul Kane was sent off for that trip on Van Bronckhorst, and you knew what Albertz was going to do. No problem whatsoever for him. And St Johnstone absolutely stunned here at the break. They trail Rangers by 3-0.
It's Cup Week on Sky Sports. Oh my word! The Worthington Cup comes alive when the big guns clash.
What a goal!
Can Michael Owen fire Liverpool onto Wembley in Europe? Or will George Graham and Spurs reclaim their glorious past?
Brilliant!
And in a London derby thriller, the might of Arsenal extend their claim to honours. A war of attrition against defending champions, Vialli's Chelsea. Then relight the fire. A new campaign of the FA Cup. The world watches the greatest cup trail. Manchester City take on Halifax, while Minnows Boreham Wood out to topple Luton.
The match facts from the first half, and Rangers are romping it, as you can see, 3-0. During that first 45 minutes, we saw Paul Kane red-carded, and Gary Boland of St Johnstone has been booked. Possession-wise, well, as you can see, St Johnstone have had plenty of the ball, but they can't do anything with it. So, Charlie, do you see things changing at all?
No, not at all. As soon as we went down to 10 men, the game was over. Rangers have been absolutely ruthless. There is you know, a tendency to look at this team and say that they are improving every week. Yes, they are, but they've not really been stretched tonight at all. Not even particularly at the top of their form, Jim, and they're winning 3-0. So, you know, things are strolling their way, they're confident, and they're looking for, everybody wants the ball, but down the left-hand side, they've been very impressive.
Rod Wallace opened the scoring tonight for Rangers, Charlie, and no doubt about it, the ball was over the line.
Well, this is it. When chances come your way, you must take them. It's a little nick, and what he has confirmed to me there is there's no doubt it's a goal, it's beyond it, but if he doesn't get the touch, Alan Main saves it. That's how important the touch was. Here, it's a great angle to see this. Off the body of Vidmar, look there, a little touch, that's enough to give another angle for the keeper. No doubt it was a goal, and from that moment in time, Rangers started to grow in confidence.
And at that stage, St Johnstone caught cold, Charlie, weren't they?
Well, there it is, just to confirm again, it's over the line. There's no doubt the angle confirms that for us, but, well, they were in control. I mean, St Johnstone had played fairly well. They had good possession. They didn't have a cutting edge to their game, that must be said, and the keeper, Naimi, was never really troubled. But in saying that, they were playing OK, Jim. But again, it's the strength of Rangers. It's shown that they don't always have to play to top form to show that their qualities are there.
Jonathan Johansson made it 2-0. Do you feel he's a player who's improving all the time?
Well, he's starting to believe in himself a lot more now. But this is a wonderful move. Look who's involved in it in the penalty box. It's Van Bronckhorst, who for me has been the man of the match in the first half. It's a great save to the keeper. Alan Main does well. But look at the bodies that are there. First they react, poacher's instinct, and that's what Rangers need. They've got Gavash on the bench, they've got Amato, who I think we'll probably see tonight. But credit to Jonathan, he's on for him.
Comfortable in that goal-scoring department, aren't they?
Well, they're very comfortable. Wallace and Johansson, we know, were complemented. But those two to get off the mark again tonight, it keeps pressure on the big money signings like Gavash.
Then penalty Rangers. Was it a penalty in your mind?
Oh, absolutely. Stonewall penalty. I felt sorry for Paul Kane, but he had to go. And the reason being is that there was no challenge coming in from his fellow defenders. Kernahan and Dodge knew he couldn't get to Van Bronckhorst. He was ready to pull the trigger. He had to go. And composure, Albertz normally goes for power. But he's composed here. And Rangers are just, just strolling along. This is an exhibition game now.
Do you feel it's game over now for St Johnstone totally?
It is game over, Jim, but I think there's important things to be made, particularly for Rangers. Kanchelskis must start to find his form because he's been injured quite a lot. And I think in particular, Gavash will get a run out, maybe giving somebody like Van Bronckhorst a rest tonight. But I think we'll see Gavash, and it'll be interesting to see him tonight.
Ideal situation for him to join now, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, and others like Charlie Miller who might come on, or Amato, to stake claims that they want to be part of this Rangers side. It's now a winning side, and it's a team that's grown in stature.
Well, as we say, St Johnstone are right now staring defeat in the face. Can they do anything in the second half? 3-0 to Rangers, remember. Join us to find out for the second half of St Johnstone Rangers. Johnson lounges off. Danny Griffin is going to come on for him, so it's a case of damage limitation for Saints.
Oh, most certainly is. The game is over as far as they're concerned. I think Sandy knows that, and I think he's just going to bring on the defender for the forward and play with George Boyle up, and just hope that they can contain Rangers, because if Rangers are only playing at half pace, they could still go on and win this 5 or 6-0. Nice to see Scott Wilson. I think it's just to get a match, but I am convinced that we will see maybe people like Wallace and somebody else like Van Bronckhorst getting a break. And that would mean that Gavash will get a run at some stage tonight.
And what do you think, more goals from Rangers?
Well, I don't think they'll be pushing it too strongly, but I think if they get through this 3-0, St Johnstone will be quite content.
It's a real test for St Johnstone tonight, isn't it?
It's a real test, it's hard for them, but this is what builds characters between teams. They know they're down to 10 men, the odds are against them doing anything. If they can just fight through this and get through a 0-0 second half, but I think Rangers will score another couple.
OK, Charlie, let's rejoin John Robertson and Ian Crocker.
Thanks, Jim. Well, there had been a bit of a goal shortage in the Scottish Premier this season, but Rangers are trying to change that. Colin Hendry has been replaced then by Scott Wilson, the 21-year-old who stood in for Amoruso recently and was very impressive. And St Johnstone also making a change with Nathan Lowndes being replaced, and the Northern Ireland international Danny Griffin coming on in his place. He hasn't figured for a month now. This time last year in the Scottish Premier, 207 goals have been scored. The same stage this season, it's only 148, but Rangers are doing their best to improve on that tally of goals all the way through the league. St Johnstone in blue and white start the second half, 3-0 down.
Well, it's a real test for them, Ian, and it's really all about Rangers' attitude the second half. Will they push and strive for more goals, or will they, as I think, after the tough test against Leverkusen, just knock the ball about. They know the game's won and just do nothing daft.
And as Charlie was saying, I'm sure we'll see Stefan Guivart make his Scottish Premier League debut at some stage. Here's Dasovic. These two teams meet again at the end of the month in the Scottish League Cup final. Rangers might feel they'd have the upper hand in that as well. Nice little 1-2 now, Johansson and Wallace. But it was marshalled behind by Gary Boland. Rod Wallace, though, has been a threat for just about every Scottish defence so far this season after his free move under the Bosman ruling from Leeds United. Spent 7 years at Ellen Road.
That's absolutely correct, Ian. He's been absolutely magnificent this season. But I don't think tonight's result will have any bearing on the cup final at all. In fact, it may even work in the Saints' favour. Rangers may come out that day thinking it's all over. And St Johnstone could go out and shock them.
O'Boyle looked like he was being held by Amoruso, and he was.
Yeah, George O'Boyle's very good at that. He gets right in. Amoruso comes over the top. And Mr. Clark is correct again.
It's McMahon and Griffin, two Northern Ireland internationals, standing over this one. Oh dear, that was pretty desperate from Jerry McMahon. And Rangers are on the charge now with Johansson. Kanchelskis and Wallace joining him. It's a lovely pass for Wallace. Oh, it's just wide. What a sweeping move that was, a classic counter-attack.
It was superb play from Rangers. A great little slip through it for Wallace. I thought he was going to slip it wide again. And that beats Alan Main, all ends up. It's just past the post. We talked about their attitude, Ian. And unfortunately, St Johnstone looks like they want more goals.
O'Boyle. Foul. Wilson, free kick. Finnegan. Albertz to Newman. The pairing they'll be turning to down the left-hand side for Rangers. Now that Newman is back in business after his long injury. Kanchelskis, quiet first half for him. Vidmar. Kanchelskis had 4 successful years with Manchester United before he moved on to Everton.
Well, we spoke about Kanchelskis earlier on. He's had a quiet game again, and I'm sure if he could get into top gear, then Rangers really would be an awesome sight.
Boland sending it into the stands, much to the delight of the Rangers fans. Wallace. Kanchelskis to Ian Ferguson. Here's Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Newman. Albertz. Johansson. And the shutters went up from Dodds, and a goal kick's been given.
That was a super ball from Albertz after Johansson. Look at that, right through the eye of the needle. And the fin turns well. Strikes a shot. And the referee gives a bye kick.
Vidmar. Scuffed out of play though by the Australian. St Johnstone finished 5th last season, their best position since the new Scottish Premier was formed in 1975. They did finish 3rd back at the start of that decade, early 70s. They have not won a major honour in their 114-year history. Sandy Clark will be hoping that changes, though. They do have the League Cup final to look forward to.
Yeah, Sandy Clark's been a born fighter, playing with Rangers as well. This will be hurting him, but he'll pick his troops up and he'll have them ready for that cup final, make no doubts about that.
This former Rangers player, West Ham fans might remember him as well, had a spell down in London. Johansson. Newman. Albertz. George O'Boyle now. And it just came off the foot of the backtracking Albertz. And Marusso kept it in. Kernighan's header. Dasovic. Ian Ferguson, long-serving Rangers man. He's been struggling to get into the side from the start this season after so many summer arrivals. Getting his chance tonight with Barry Ferguson being rested.
Well, Ian Ferguson rarely lets Rangers down. He's a big favourite with the fans, and he'll be delighted to be playing tonight.
Andrei Kanchelskis. Ian Ferguson. Kanchelskis. Is he finally going to show us the skills that we know he can show us when he's in the mood? Doesn't appear to be going very far at the moment, but that might change. This is Vidmar. And super tackle from Dodds, but it's going to be turned back in towards Johansson. And Wallace didn't quite connect properly. Newman's cross. And O'Neill steps away from Albertz, but he's not getting much help out there. And it's gone straight to Vidmar. Quite what St Johnstone playing at the moment. Not sure. Albertz wanted to unleash another fierce drive.
Yeah, St Johnstone dithering at the edge of their box there, to say the least, but they're away now. And this is really when they're at the most vulnerable here. When they go forward, Rangers will be ready to hit them with another quicksilver counter-attack.
Quillen's ball forward, simply adding to the frustration of the Saints. Saints who have had little chance to go marching on so far tonight.
How long have you been waiting for that one, Ian? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I just thought of it, honest. Here's Ian Ferguson. Arthur Newman. Albertz. Van Bronckhorst. And Kernighan got his body in the way.
Well, it was an unusual clearance, to say the least. There was a faint appeals for a handball, but St Johnstone had the benefit of the doubt for Mr. Clark.
Here's O'Boyle. McMahon is with him. And O'Boyle did well to find Dasovic. And Griffin was the furthest man forward, and Vidmar had to steer it behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was good stuff from St Johnstone there, and young Griffin is more used to being at the back, solid defensive player, but that was a great run forward. Maybe this time St Johnstone can make one of their set pieces pay.
Well, they do have the likes of Dodds to aim for. In the end, it dropped over Kernighan's head.
Yeah, it's been probably a feature of St Johnstone's play, not a feature of St Johnstone's play tonight, is that the delivery from set pieces has been uncharacteristically poor for them.
Arthur Newman has looked a class act tonight for Rangers, but here's McQuillan, and that's better for the Saints. It was away by Vidmar. Here's Albertz. Boland. Wilson. Second half replacement for Colin Hendry. Give him a bit of a rest with Rangers strolling it. Here goes Newman. And just after I said he was looking a class act, he of course goes and does that.
Well, Ian, being the senior partner here, I think you should know better than that. Newman gets in a good position. He sees that Johansson's there, but due to your jinx,
Put the curse on him.
Pass it over the bar.
With Boyle penalised. Albertz. Johansson. And the Finn sends it back to the German. Here's a Scot. And that's an excellent pass from Ian Ferguson to Kanchelskis. And he couldn't deliver the goods, but then he hasn't really done that all night.
Well, it was a magnificent pass from Ferguson. It's probably been the most incisive pass of the match so far. And Kanchelskis a bit unlucky not to find a man in the middle.
Mr. Reliable, Ian Ferguson finds Newman. Now Albertz. Here is Ian Ferguson. Away by Bolam, but it comes to Vidmar. Kanchelskis. Little 1-2 with Wallace was exceptional. But Darren Dodds headed it away.
Yeah, super little exchange there between Kanchelskis and Wallace. And Rangers, as we suggested, are probing away. They're in no hurry. They know they've got the extra man. They're just waiting to make it tell.
Albertz to Newman. In from Albertz, away from Dodds. St Johnstone, remember, had Paul Kane sent off in the first half. The incident that led to another convincing penalty conversion from George Albertz. Kanchelskis. So far in the second half, St Johnstone under a bit of pressure.
Well, we're only 12 minutes or so in the second half here, and I'm afraid that figure is surely going to go up and up and up the longer this match goes on.
I don't think I've seen it at 50% before. Stefan Givash is warming up for Rangers.
Well, that's maybe what this game needs, Ian, as regards to looking for more goals, because there's one thing for sure. If Givash comes on, you want to make an impression early and get that all-important first goal for your club.
Here's O'Boyle. Slipped it through to McQuillan. And was he brought down? It's a corner.
Well, the St Johnstone fans are incensed. It's a superb ball here from O'Boyle. He's onside. He just gets a touch in front of Niemi. And for me, that is a penalty kick. He may have played for it, but it's a penalty kick, and Niemi, too, could have been red carded.
Yes, he might have got away with that. Antti Niemi. As he sent McQuillan sprawling. McMahon. Away by Newman. Somebody hit it, for goodness sake. He's given a free kick to St Johnstone.
Yeah, well, the two of them up there. It's a handball in the end. Good decision from Mr Clark, but I can't help thinking there was definite contact between McQuillan and Niemi. Another referees just may have given that one, Ian.
What a lift it would have been for St Johnstone as we approach the hour mark. Niemi now has a free kick to contend with. And a free kick from Griffin. Instantly forgettable, really.
Yeah, you've done a good strike, but it's well over the bar. No problems on Niemi. And 15 minutes into the game, still trailing freedom.
Rangers with double the attempts at goal than St Johnstone, who have still only managed one on target. McQuillan involved in that penalty controversy. Not a penalty controversy. Albertz. Twisted back by Kernigan. And he needed to do that because Hot Rod was lurking.
Yeah, Wallace was steaming in behind him there. Kernigan, as usual, 100%. Solid display again tonight. He's done little wrong, but he finds himself 3-0 down.
O'Boyle. Super turn, but he just let it run out. Just crept over the line.
Well, it's trademark George O'Boyle's toughness. It's a magnificent turn. He looks to be going inside, turn it round. Oh, it's just out and no more. But that shows you can't take your eyes off that man for a minute.
Ian Ferguson. A rock as ever for Rangers. Newman is enjoying his evening in Perth. Albertz to Van Bronckhorst. Is that a foul by Griffin? No. Here's Newman. Tony Vidmar, they're holding off him. He might have a pop here, and he does!
Well, St Johnstone nearly committing suicide again. They cannot keep backing off and backing off. Kenan doesn't know where to go now. It's a good strike. It's a couple of feet wide. Tony Vidmar rifles it in there, but Alan May, I'm sure, would have had that covered.
Well, they kind of posted him an invitation then, didn't they? And he didn't turn it down. Griffin getting a bit of treatment.
Yeah, he seemed to be twisting his ankle or something there, but look at Vidmar. St Johnstone back forward, back off and back off. And you don't want to be doing that.
Well, in the Worthington Cup this week, there are two mighty matches live on Sky Sports. Tuesday 7:30 from Anfield, Liverpool against Tottenham Hotspur, and the following night it's Arsenal against Chelsea in the battle for London supremacy. Rangers are ruling the roost here. Bowen. Dasovic. Here's Dasovic again. McMahon. Didn't really trouble Rangers again. And here's Newman. John O'Neill stepped neatly in. But Van Bronckhorst says, "You're not going past me, John." Here's Ian Ferguson.
Well, Van Bronckhorst impressed me again tonight, Ian. He's at the heart of all Rangers moves.
Side flag up against Johansson.
Yeah, looks like he just strayed a little bit too quickly there. Good play from Kernahan. You see them, he must get the shout there. There's the pass, and he's just offside.
Ian Ferguson, another precise pass from him, sets Kanchelskis away. Johansson dummied in the hope that it would carry through to Wallace. McQuillan clear, but here's Kanchelskis coming back for a bit more. Still Kanchelskis! That is absolute quality from Andrei Kanchelskis. He's had a fairly quiet night, but not anymore.
Well, you said you made a mistake. What about this? A vast from from Kanchelskis. He cuts in. There's the best bit of skill. He just leaves it off, strikes it low, and Alan Main again gets a hand to it. There's the touch. He drives it through there, and Alan Main just can't keep it out. Well, Rangers are turning on the screw, and I still think there's more goals left now. Their attitude since they've come out the second half, they've been looking, they've been probing. They've got another one, and St Johnstone are in for a tough last 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so.
Really is the sign of a world-class player. We all know what Kanchelskis is capable of, and he's finally showed us. I think Rangers' fourth goal might be the signal for the arrival of Stefan Givars shortly. Wallace. Kanchelskis has now scored in both games against St Johnstone this season. Got the first in the 4-0 win at Ibrox at the end of August. It's 4-0 again to Rangers.
Well, Alan Main has had a good game tonight for St Johnstone. He's found himself picking the ball at the back net 4 times. And to make matters worse, it appears that Rangers are going to bring on even more firepower.
Here's McMahon. Deep cross. It's the little man O'Neill who got to it. And behind for a goal kick. Tasovic frustrated by Vidmar. And the round of applause from the Rangers fans is for the debut of the French international Stefan Givars in place of Jonathan Johansson. A World Cup winner hits Perth. Johansson, a goal machine himself lately, comes off. Givars scored an incredible 47 goals in 57 matches for Auxerre of France last season. He's had a torrid time on Tyneside, and he's a man who might feel he has a point or two to prove. I'm sure St Johnstone are really delighted to see a World Cup winner coming on.
Yeah, I'm sure that's Alamein delighted to see the back of Johansson, only to see Givart strolling onto the park. And as one Dutchman didn't fancy him down at Tyneside, it's another Dutchman is brought him to Glasgow.
He gets his first touch, given the number 15 squad number. Ian Ferguson. And Bronkhorst with another classy touch. And here he is again. The Dutchman dazzling once more, and he sets it up for his fellow countryman Newman, who, well, you could see from his reaction what he felt of his own finish.
Well, it's another sweeping move from Rangers. Van Bronckhorst yet again. But look at the movement from Givart here. He peels off. And if that's cut back, instead of blasted over by Newman, it could have been a dream debut for the Frenchman.
He hasn't scored yet for Rangers, Newman. I think he's rather keen to get one.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't think there's a player in the country that passed up an opportunity like that.
And a substitution being made by St Johnstone, and they've brought on Stuart McCluskey for McMahon. Here's Dasovic. Here is McCluskey getting his first touch. Jerry McMahon, the man making way. Here's Dasovic. It's gone through to O'Boyle, but not for long. Van Bronckhorst. Perfection to Newman. 1-2 with Albertz. Givars to Albertz. This is exhibition football from Rangers. And St Johnstone really had little answer to it.
Well, it's beginning to turn into, dare I say, an exhibition match from Rangers. And it's a bit harsh on St Johnstone. They've had to play for a long time with 10 men. They haven't done all that badly, and they don't deserve this kind of treatment.
Rangers peppering passes towards the St Johnstone goal. And Van Bronckhorst to Givars. And Givars! Oh! That is amazing! The World Cup winner, Stefan Givars, makes an immediate impact in Scottish football. And how? What a finish!
Well, once again, it's some superb play. It's gets into that man, Van Bronckhorst again. He slips Beavers in. He looks to have gone the wrong way. He tries to chip. It's a slight deflection off the shoulder of John McQuillan. But it's in the back of the net. It's a dream debut for Gart. He may not have done well in Tyneside. But indeed said he scored, or Perth should say he scored, and it's 5-0 Rangers.
Well, he might not have scored in the World Cup, but it didn't take him long to get going in Scotland. A world-class goal from a World Cup winner. And if he's going to equal his Auxerre tally of last season, he's only got 46 more to go.
Yeah, 46 in 57 games, and he's got 1 goal in about 3 minutes here. So he's certainly heading off in the right direction. He's gave the game the boost that Rangers fans wanted, and they're now enjoying themselves.
Are you watching Newcastle? Of that St Johnstone substitution. Stuart McCluskey, 21-year-old, on in place of Jerry McMahon. Kanchelskis for Vidmar. Rangers seeking out a sick, but they won't get one like that.
Oh, good build-up play again. It's a poor cross from Tony Vidmar. But is this the way to do it? Celtic hammer 6 against Dundee. And Rangers respond the following day like the true champions they once were.
Well, let's look at these 2 goals of top quality.
Yeah, Kanchelskis cuts in, it's a stunning drive. We asked for more, he's give us more, but there's the man for me, Van Bronckhorst. It's a good touch, but you'll see him give us, it just flicks off the shoulder of McQuillan.
Rangers, meantime, have made a substitution. And it's Charlie Miller coming on for Arthur Newman. Miller making his 10th substitute appearance of the season. His only start came at Aberdeen. Well, it's been easy for Rangers. Goal and 5-star performance from Dick Advocat's men as they look to regain the championship from Celtic.
Come on, George, come on!
Griffin. The remaining 17 minutes might feel a rather long 17 minutes for St Johnstone. Charlie Miller showed a lot of potential a couple of years ago, lost his way a little bit.
Yeah, he suffered the last couple of years at Rangers with injuries, loss of form, but he's a quality player, and he'll sit in the middle of that park and probe and get the ball to the Albertz. And for me, the impressive man again, Van Bronckhorst. He may not have scored, but he seems to have been involved in everything.
Albertz to Wallace. Beavers on the chase. Vidmar has done well today, coming in for Perini. Boyle survives the barge Amoruso, although that free kick will now be given.
Yeah, good refereeing from Mr. Platt there. There was an initial foul on George Boyle from Amoruso. He let him get the advantage, and when there was none forthcoming, he correctly gave the free kick.
Celtic scored 6 yesterday. Their arch rivals in the city of Glasgow are 1 away from doing the same. Poor old St Johnstone have been swept aside.
Yeah, I'm sure the Rangers fans came up here tonight a bit apprehensive because Saints have been going well, but they got the early goal, and then the sending off really killed the match as a contest. But Rangers have been merciless tonight. They've kept going forward, and maybe this is just a warning for Saints in the Cup in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Perhaps a bit of a warning also to the Italians of Parma, who are no doubt checking Rangers out. Credit to Dick Advocaat's men for overcoming one of the best German sides in Bayer Leverkusen. No mean feat that. So winning in Germany.
Yeah, everything Advocaat's touched so far seems to have turned to gold. Rangers will be delighted at the start he's had.
Charlie Miller. Here's Albertz sizing one up.
Well, the Albertz there, the hammer. Not one of his better strikes, but again, you can't give this man too much room. The Rangers will keep knocking the ball about, wait for that chance to add goal number 6.
Dasovic to O'Boyle. Rangers' record win against St Johnstone came in the 1928-29 season when they won by 8 goals to 0 at the end of the 1920s. See that game?
Ian Crocker, you are one sad man. One sad man, I can tell you.
Can't really argue with that. Here's Vidmar. Kanchelskis. Albertz. Wallace, could this be number 6? Not quite, but nearly. Dasovic. Boland. John O'Neill. Must be really hard now for these St Johnstone players. I say now, it's been pretty hard for the preceding 77 minutes.
Yeah, it's been difficult for them, Ian, but they've stuck to the task. Even with 11 men, it's hard to stop this Rangers machine driving forward. But I'm sure it will have no bearing whatsoever on a rather small matter of a cup final,
which takes place at Celtic's ground at the end of the month. Rangers beaten only twice this season in all competitions, by Hearts on the opening weekend in a thriller live on Sky Sports, and at Motherwell recently when they didn't really click. Well, they put it to Motherwell for a hugely spirited performance that night. And after failing to win a trophy last year, you get the feeling they took it personally. 47 league titles, 27 Scottish Cups, 20 League Cups, and the Cup Winners' Cup for Rangers. Were they happy?
Just a touch, I would say, yeah, just a touch.
And it's trickled off George O'Boyle's boot. And you get the feeling St Johnstone would simply like to be put out of their misery.
Yeah, it's still 12 minutes or so plus. Here we see injury time to go. I'm sure they'd just prefer to give Rangers the points now and have no more suffering.
Here's Guy Varsh, instant hit, instant hero with the Rangers fans. Kanchelskis. Just over Wallace's head, it comes to Guy Varsh! He's done it again! His second of the game! 6 of the best for Rangers tonight, and they are really looking like the best themselves.
Well, Kanchelskis works his magic again. Wallace makes an impression there. There's the touch. There's the finish. Well, you do get something for $3.5 million these days. It's a super touch there. No drawback, whack. Alan Main, no chance. Rangers are now 6 ahead. And Guy Varsh is off to a flyer.
Not a bad start to his Rangers career then.
Well, we spoke about Elaine, was it 47 and 57? He now has 2 in about 15 minutes. And would you bet against a hat-trick?
bet against 45 more this season to equal last season's tally for Auxerre. Strangely, he never managed to get one at the World Cup. He had a few chances, mind you.
Yeah, he got a bit of stick in the World Cup. He played up front on his own. But there's one thing for sure, Ian, this Rangers team will create chances. And if Gart just hangs around that penalty spot, I'm sure he'll get one or two more this season.
Well, whilst Gart was celebrating, Roddy Grant came on for St Johnstone in place of George Boyle. He's just coming into your picture there. But won't get near Amarusa. Scott Wilson. Rod Wallace. Oh joy, St Johnstone think. Here they come again. Kanchelskis. He slipped, but he got up. And away, but only as far as Givars, who's on a hat-trick. And ball shout then as Van Bronckhorst goes in. And he's given the penalty.
Well, I'm not so sure about this. I spoke about Niemi earlier on with the penalty incident. McQuillan dives in. Griffin dives in, and Joe Martin, Mr. Clark, it is a penalty kick. It was a penalty. Is Givart's going to go for the hat-trick, or is Albertz taking it? No, Albertz.
I think he checked with the bench then to see if they could let Givars take it, but Dick Advocat, very professional. It's Albertz, and it's number 7, his second spot kick on this stormingly spectacular Sunday for Rangers, who are in 7th heaven.
Well, that's more like the hammer, smashed in, tremendous penalty. In all fairness to the German, he signalled to the bench to see if Givart was getting a hat-trick. But Advocat wants more for his money, and Givart will have to do it the hard way.
He is totally professional in his approach, Dick Advocat. They've been so impressed with him at Rangers, not just for the way he's built this team, but for so many other aspects of his job as well.
Well, Ian, you mentioned that figure of 8-0 earlier on. There's 8 minutes and stoppage time to go. Here we have a repeat.
A repeat from the 1928-29 season, remember, the record 8-0 win for Rangers over the Saints. Sorry, Saints tonight. Grant, a cult hero, coming on to replace George Boyle.
Yeah,
all he's got to do is score 8 times.
Well, Big Roddy's a trier.
And Griffin, oh, it was fumbled by, and it didn't go in. And somehow, as Niemi fumbled it, Dasovic couldn't quite turn it in.
Well, I told you Roddy Grant was a trier. He peels off brilliantly. It's a great header. It's a good save from Niemi. And that just about sums up St Johnstone's night.
Oh dear. Dasovic, the Canadian, was hurt physically as well as mentally by that miss, I'd have thought.
Yeah, well, it would have been a small crumb of comfort for St Johnstone, but a welcome one nonetheless. But like everything else tonight, tragically, it goes against them once more.
Rangers have been absolutely awesome. Can they equal their record win over St Johnstone? They've still got 16 minutes and added on time to do it.
Well, they've been impressive, Ian. As I said, they questioned after a hard 90 minutes against Leverkusen, 3-0 up here at half-time, what their attitude would be like. And that is a warning, getting smashed out to the rest of the Premier League. Rangers are taking no prisoners.
Well, just in case you've come in late and think we've got the score wrong in the corner, we haven't. 7-0 to Rangers. Simply stunning. And just remember against St Johnstone team who are very much in form and who put Rangers on the rack after going 1-0 down, which seems a very long time ago now.
Well, St Johnstone came in tonight, they've had the same team, apart from Alan Preston, So maybe the quicker Sonny Clark gets in back, things will click back into place.
Roddy Grant given a yellow card for this.
Well, a bit soft there. Roddy's throws himself about a bit. I didn't see too much in that to warrant a yellow card.
Van Bronckhorst. Dasovic. Here's Boland. Being hassled by Wallace and Kanchelskis. Apologies to Andrei Kanchelskis for suggesting he was having a quiet night, as he weighed in with a spectacular strike on an exceptional evening for Rangers. Dodds. Always given it away to Ian Ferguson. Guy. Albertz is on a hat-trick himself now, as well as Guy. The Frenchman finds Kanchelskis. Vidmar in support. Kanchelskis is showing off now. Here's Wallace. Vidmar. Ian Ferguson is going to have a go, and it deflected rather viciously on its way through to Alan Main.
Good play from Rangers once more. They knocked it about, they teased, they waited for the opening. Ferguson, tremendous strike, but Alan Main kept his eye on the ball.
Van Bronckhorst, who couldn't get a game in the World Cup, mind you, the Dutch have got a pretty good midfield. He will be a fixture of that midfield, I would think, for some years to come, though. Now here's Wallace, and he's away. And Guy is in the middle, cut out by Dodds, just as Guy was waiting to pounce for his hat-trick. Here's Roddy Grant. It's just a bit of a lost cause for St Johnstone. Albertz. Aimed towards Wallace, who will let it run for Kanchelskis. Here they go again. And it's back for Charlie Miller. It's come out to Ian Ferguson. Oh, smothered by the keeper. Offside flag is up. The flag is up, and Guy is denied his hat-trick.
Well, what can we possibly say of that? Really would have been a dream to strike. He is offside. Well done, the assistant referee over there. He was offside when it was struck, but it was tight.
Well, they're coming back for yet more. Van Bronckhorst. Dasovic. And they go to their beds tonight, these St Johnstone men. And might have one or two nightmares. How about a man of the match, Robert?
Well, you know me, normally I'm in Strikers Union. Rod Wallace has played magnificent tonight. We've had 2 goals from Albertz, 2 from Guy, but for me it's been a man who's been pulling the strings tonight, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Yes, he really has been quite superb.
Well, he's been at the heart of everything. He's been getting the balls off the back 4, he's been supporting the front men, he's been involved in the penalty incidents both. He set up other goals tonight and thoroughly deserves the Man of the Match award.
He's Rangers' only ever present this season, now that Perini missed out tonight. And they'll settle for him being an ever present come the merry month of May. Looks like a clean sheet then for Antti Niemi. Hasn't had the busiest night of his career.
Yeah, I'm quite sure he'll be happy enough with the lack of action he's had. He's had 1 save, and really it was only a shocking miss from Dasovic, which has kept that clean sheet. Well, it's a clean sheet, nevertheless.
Griffin's free kick towards Grant. Charlie Miller Ferguson. Now, is Albertz going to get to this? Not to any great effect. He didn't. Goal kick. 2 more penalties for George Albertz this evening, taking his tally for the season to 7 penalties. 4 more goals as well. 11 overall. Not bad. And St Johnstone's misery is over. Rangers have romped it. They have really turned on the style tonight. Stefan Guivarch came off the bench to score twice and had a hat-trick goal disallowed for offside. 2 clinical penalties for Albertz. Rod Wallace started it all off in the first half. And as John said, the man who pulled the strings for Rangers here in Perth tonight was Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Andrei Kanchelskis, I suggested he was having a quiet night, so he went and scored a world-class goal. Absolutely awesome Rangers tonight. Rod Wallace with the first, striker's instinct from close range. It did cross the line. Wallace set up the second, excellent save from Van Bronckhorst by Alan Main, but Johansson pounced. And then Paul Kane was sent off for upending Van Bronckhorst. Albertz never really troubled from the penalty spot, is he? And just watch this from Kanchelskis. Exceptional. If you thought that was good, just watch this. Van Bronckhorst with the pass. Stefan Guivarch, welcome to Scotland. I'm sure they were watching that at Newcastle. Guivarch grabbing his second of the game. And then just to rub it in for St Johnstone, another penalty for Griffin's challenge on Van Bronckhorst. Albertz tucked it away. And Rangers have fired a message tonight to anyone who dare challenge them for the championship. It finishes St Johnstone 0, Rangers 7.
A reminder of the football cup. At McDermott Park tonight, Rangers demolished 10-man St Johnstone 7-0. Odds of that scoreline coming about, incidentally, 100-1 before kick-off tonight. Only a very brave punter would have gone for that. 7-0 Rangers. 2 bookings and 1 sending off. Boland and Grant booked, St Johnstone players of course, and Paul Kane of St Johnstone sent off. A significant moment in this match, sent off. Just 2 offside decisions tonight. In the first half, Saints had plenty of pressure, but they could do nothing with it. Different story altogether in the second half. All Rangers, complete and utter domination in the second 45 minutes. So, 7-0. Davy Provan is with man of the match, Giovanni van Bronckhorst.
Giovanni, were you surprised at just how comfortably Rangers won that match tonight?
Yes, I think, especially before the game, we thought that it's going to be a hard game, and the first 10-15 minutes was very hard for us. And but after the 1-0, I think we played very well and deserved to win here.
Where did you find a performance like that? Because Rangers have played so much football recently, and that must have taken its toll, surely. Yeah, we played, of course, I think 24 games now till today, and I think everybody was a little bit tired today because 3 days ago we played against Bayer. But I think when you play well, you want to go all the spaces and you want to have the ball always, and that was good for us today. What did you make of the introduction of Stefan Guivarch? It wasn't a bad start for him, was it? No, I think he came in, I think, 20 minutes before time, and he scored 2 times. And the third time was offside, but I think it was a good day for him. And what about you? Are you still convinced you've made the right move coming to Scotland? Peter van Vossen said recently that it was the wrong move for you. Yes, I thought he said it 3 times, but I have to say 3 times yes. I think I'm very happy to play for Rangers, and especially the way it goes now. For me, it's the best. What about the UEFA Cup tie that lies ahead now? Parma, who are the favourites for the tournament. Do you think Rangers can get through that one again? Yeah, I think we showed against Leverkusen that we can beat big teams, and of course the 2 matches against Parma is going to be very hard for us. But we're in the 3rd round and we have nothing to lose, so I hope we get through. Giovanni, thanks for your time. Okay, no problem.
If you're wondering, 7-0 is not the record away win in the Scottish Premier League. Celtic hold that. 8-0 winners at Hamilton back in 1988. So Celtic hold that one. But Charlie, Rangers dominant tonight. Well,
I think my line at half-time was exactly spot on in terms of being ruthless. They were in a ruthless mood in the second half. I did say second half I thought they would go on and score more goals because Chelsea had a role to play. Wallace didn't want to come off at all. He wanted to stay on and score goals. And obviously the big signing of Givash and the introduction of him. Felt a little bit sorry for St Johnstone. Not a lot they could have done in this Rangers forum tonight. They were ruthless.
They were just steamrollers, weren't they, from start to finish?
You know, you're talking about St Johnstone meeting them in the final at the end of this one. I don't know if they're going to get, you know, they're not going to get as difficult a game again as in terms of facing Rangers in this mood. But Rangers didn't play that well for the first 20 minutes or so. They just felt their way into the game. St Johnstone had more possession, more attacking moves than them, but they didn't have a cutting edge. And when you have this is an example to me that you don't always need to go and buy big name European players. Some of them are successful. He's a free agent from Leeds, good British player, and now he's got 13 goals in his bag. And I tell you what, he's been a sensational buy for Rangers. Good instincts here, and a great camera angle to confirm to us Rangers went 1-0 up.
And here's another great player, Rangers, Arthur Newman.
Yeah, but this was a lovely move, Jim. The all-round Van Bronckhorst, who I said at half-time, for me was outstanding tonight. The best player on the park, Jonathan Johansson, on form. Everybody's thoroughly enjoying their football just now. They've all got a smile on their face. But what they know is that they have a cutting edge in their game also. The thing that St Johnstone didn't have for 20 minutes. And once that went in, it was really all over. But good football all round from Rangers.
Johansson doing very well. We highlighted him in Inside Scottish Football some weeks back. He's doing well for Rangers.
Did, and
now that's a key moment, the sending off.
Well, it's a key moment in terms of the game being over. And St Johnstone then had no chance. I mean, the night was over for them. It was damage limitation. And Sandy
should have gone.
He had to go. The intent was there. He clearly went to take him out of the game when he was ready to pull the trigger. And Albertz was composed. And from that moment in time, it was about how Rangers were going to approach the second half.
But there and then, game over, wasn't it? 3-0, they could not come back from that.
No, and they knew that, but to be fair, I wasn't sure. I didn't really think, I've seen the penalties given for this, but I wasn't sure. I think he actually slipped. I think you can tell by a player's reaction, and the keeper got off with it. But I think, watch him just now, just as he touches over him, he just loses his foot in there. The keeper does catch him. I've seen them given, but it wasn't TV from Johnson's night. And Chelsea, as I told you at half-time, would need to do more. This is what we anticipate to see from this guy. The talent's there, we know it. He's been injured, and maybe he just needs games to get sharpness. And the second half proved that his confidence was lifted, and then Rangers just strolled the second half after that.
I mean, Avocat will be delighted because everyone was contributing, and, well, this fella did, didn't he? 3 minutes on the field and he scores.
Well, yeah, and he can thank Van Bronckhorst for a lovely pass. Gets a little break, which everybody likes, especially strikers. But what a start, a sensational start. You want to come on and start well, and when you're 5-0 up, it gets, well, certainly, you know, you get an opportunity to go and get things after that. But I loved the way the run was. It was a lovely little angled run. I think he did try the chip. I think he got lucky with it, but I think he did try it. But this is what I like, Jim. Watch his reaction when it comes off the defender. Makes himself a yard, one touch, and it's in the back of the net. That's impressive finishing. It might not be a thought as highly in the English Premiership, but when you come to the Scottish Premier League, if you see quality like this, you know you've got a finisher on your hands.
And there was pressure on him tonight, Charlie, wasn't there? Because he needed to show people he's not a flop.
Well, not as much as what there would be if he's coming on and starting the game, Jim, or they're losing a game. And he very nearly got his hat-trick in the end. It was a clear penalty for me.
Saints players were annoyed with Van Bronckhorst there, Charlie.
Well, I don't know why. Look, I mean, it's a lunge in. He takes a kick in the knee, and it's a clear penalty for me. And obviously, Mr. Advocat is a ruthless gentleman himself, not prepared to give Givash his hat-trick.
Should he have done?
Well, sometimes there's no sympathy in football. He's a professional man, and that gives you know, the lesson to all his players that he just wants to win.
Well, Charlie, let me tell you, Sandy Clark is a brave man. His side lost 7-0 tonight. He's with Davy Provan.
Sandy, that's not a scoreline that we associate with St Johnstone these days. Where did it go wrong for you tonight?
Well, I think first of all, obviously we are all very disappointed with the end product, but I think you have to give credit to Rangers. The money they've invested is incredible, and you can see the incredible amount of talent they've got on the pitch, and they played very, very well tonight.
The sending off of Paul Kane and the penalty that resulted in that sending off, what did you make of it?
Well, it's certainly, I think that was the difference from maybe the game being a bit closer and ending up with 7 goals against us. Paul certainly wasn't the last man, so you really don't know why the referee sent him off. It's up to, he'll have to explain that one. But up until then, I actually thought we did reasonably well. We played, you know, we were disappointed the goals we lost, but we felt we gave a good account of ourselves. But 10 men against the class that Rangers have was obviously difficult for us.
It's a blow for you because Paul Kane has been doing well for you, and now he misses out for the Celtic game.
Yeah, that's football, Davey. Somebody else will get their chance, and it's important that we regroup now. You know, we didn't see too much after the game, to be honest with you. I think tomorrow morning's the time to, in a cool light day, to analyse it and go over 1 or 2 the bits that we got wrong. But you know, I keep going on about it. You know, I'm not making excuses, but 1 or 2 of the Rangers players were absolutely outstanding.
What is the general message you'll give to your players tomorrow?
Well, I think, you know, you've got to forget about it. I think the fact that you know, Nick Dazovic has got a chance at the end that he puts over the bar, but really it should have went in. He was actually caught late, but the referee obviously didn't think that was a penalty. I think that summed up our luck tonight. Everything that was going to go against us went against us, and I've said for a long time that, you know, we're going to get a dunt. Didn't expect it to just as heavy as that, but at the end of the day, it's hopefully that's all out the road at the one time.
Sandy, thank you.
Cheers, Davey.
Sandy Clark, speaking there to David Provan, they need to regroup. I think he's right.
He's just exactly what he says is right. He should just forget about it. It's gone. He can speak to the players tomorrow when he's cooler about it. It takes a bit of time to get over this, but they've got Celtic to face next Saturday, so that's a big test and easy motivation it should be.
Charlie, as we know, Marco Negri got off to a great start in his career with Rangers. Guivarch is doing the same, isn't he?
Well, especially the fact that he's been introduced tonight and go off with 2 goals. I mean, the confidence is high already. I don't think he'll probably start. Dick Advocaat is saying, I like the run. The run makes it for me. I think he earned his luck by the run because he's running in to hurt people. And I do generally think he tried to chip the goalkeeper and he got a little bit of break. But yeah, it's a wonderful start from him. But Johansson scored again tonight. Wallace has scored again tonight. Maybe Rangers are just starting to get the finishing pieces of this jigsaw.
Yeah, and the second goal, I mean, Rangers fans simply took to him right away because of this.
Well, no wonder. No wonder. I have to say again, look at the reaction from the touch from the defender. It's easy just to go to sleep there and think it's going to be, you know, headed out the box. He doesn't. He reacts with 1 touch. He's alert. He does favour his left foot, I'm led to believe. But on this occasion, that's a good power finish. And I tell you, that's a very, very impressive start tonight.
So he's a good finisher. We know that already, do we?
Well, he scored 37 goals in 47 games, something like that in France. And that in itself is high standard. He started tonight very promisingly, and if he continues like that, he could end up top goal scorer in Scotland.
OK, Charlie, Rangers 7-0 winners tonight. Well, in a couple of minutes, we'll highlight some of the key moments from the matches played yesterday in the Scottish Premier League. We'll be right back.